Bon matin. Here is a good exercise using a G chord. Lately I've just been trying to remember stuff that really helped me, like unlock stuff on the guitar, and one of the things I started to do a lot of was like you can play G like this or like this. Like there's tons of ways to play G. One like good way to do it is just put your middle finger here, and really if you strum up to here and you mute this out, this is a G chord. It's super easy to do. And once you got that, what's cool about it is now you have this finger free, and this finger free. So what you can do is start to add notes to this simple G chord. So say this finger, you can put it on the 2nd fret on the G string. You can strum however you want. Just try putting first finger on 2. You can worry about what these chords are called, but most of the time when people are playing, they're not really worrying about that. Like this would be called a G9 chord, or G sus2, but it just doesn't matter. You just take your finger, now try to, instead of on 2 on the G string, put it on 2 on the D string. And then you can try both. And then we also have 2 right here on this note. Go down these 3 notes, but when you're strumming, make sure you're muting this until you get down here, then you want to go, because this chord will sound kind of weird. It sounds kind of muddy, unless that's what you really want. So we got also get a lot more notes from this. You can do your 3rd finger on D right here. You can use your 1st finger on, or 3rd finger on D. Your 1st finger can stretch over to C. It's a little awkward, but people do this all the time. So now we got put it up on G up on top. You can do this. So you can G, E up on top. And if you play guitar for a while, you could probably recognize what I'm doing is actually playing a G chord while playing this basic pentatonic scale. That's like the first scale most people learn. This is a G major pentatonic or E minor pentatonic. 3-0, 3-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 3-0. So this note, the C, actually is not in that scale. So actually, like, this is gonna bring in a note from the major scale. I shouldn't have done that, but I do that a lot. So that's not part of that pentatonic scale. But then you can also start adding notes from a G major scale, so you can even get more like kind of moods out of this. You can get, so we got G, we got this F sharp, E, D, C. I like to go to B right here. You could do it as an open string. A lot of times I like to do it like this. A. One thing, the reason why I like to do B right here like that instead of like this is you have a little bit more control. Like it stands out more, whereas this is a little harder to control because it's an open string. Like listen to the difference between. See, I can't really do it. Whereas B to A, it's real easy like that. Versus it doesn't really sound good. So one more time, I got G, F sharp, E, D, C, B on 4th fret, A, G. Then you can do F sharp here. It's a little bit tense. E, D. You can do a C, B, G. So the thing is not to think too hard, just to start experimenting. So you can make up stuff like. If you do down up too, it's a little easier. When you do it up, it's easier to snag these notes, whereas if you do down, it's harder to grab the top notes that you want. So I recommend just kind of get this going, and then you do like. Because it's just kind of fun to do that, or bends sound cool. And then you can also start to add other notes that are a little more unusual, like start to sound bluesy. If you bend this third fret, you actually bend B flat to make it sound like B. So just take some time and start messing around with these. You'll be surprised how much stuff you can come up with. And sometimes I like to do notes that are like kind of tense and weird. Off this, like C sharp in a G chord is a little strange. Play it in the right kind of way, it can start to sound kind of cool. The thing is not to think, just to kind of try stuff. Like, yep, okay. That doesn't. That's bluesy. Just kind of mess around, keeping your finger constant, and then once you can do that, the next step is to kind of go like. Mess around here. Move your middle finger up to C. Then you go back to G. And then you can actually do like a D chord with open D. Or you can slide your middle finger up to D right here on 5th fret. So I was doing open D. Or you can go. Same technique. If that seems hard, I mean, I just spent like a few weeks, I don't know when I learned this, just kind of. Sometimes I do it like this too, like. What I did there is slide my middle finger up to 8. Trickier when you do that though, because the open strings like starts to get a really different effect. And you can, a lot of like country music kind of sounds like this, like. So it kind of helps with that, or you kind of get that bluesy like. Or you can actually get like really like soothing sort of sounds if you do it slow, like. Like really melodic and kind of nice sounding. A lot has to do with the tempo and what kind of notes you're grabbing. Like more stuff from the G major scale. All the same kind of idea though, just grabbing notes. skill to be able to keep one finger constant while you grab other notes. Like, it's just a good skill, like, even if you're up high, to get used to being able to do that. Like, let's say you're up here. You're kind of hacking around till you find what you want, like. Same feeling, like keeping one finger constant. Right there I was keeping this constant for the most part, and you can get all sorts of different genres doing it, like if you do. Same thing, just that would be like bluesy sounding, or like real quickly you can make it sort of like melodic again, like. That kind of stuff. So anyways, this is how it kind of unlocked it for me. It was just taking a few weeks and doing. It probably sounded like this when I first learned it though. Like. Probably didn't sound very fancy at first. It was just kind of like, okay. You know, it's just easy to be like, because your fingers have done it so many times, you don't really think. So anyways, I don't know, I'm just trying to think about little exercises that I actually did. Because a lot of times, like, as a guitar teacher, you start to like imagine stuff you think would be useful versus what actually was useful. Like, sometimes I'll get in the habit of like forcing my students to do major scales. And that is useful, or like maybe like some arpeggios. And it is cool to practice this stuff, especially if you want to play that more of that kind of style. But like that stuff, I mean, it is helpful to build intuition. I do get my students to do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I think it's almost more helpful to pick like one little thing like this that's like a little bit more open-ended. And also, I mean, G chord is so common that, like, being able to have the ability, like, oh, there's a G chord in this song. And this is, like, the most common thing in the world on guitar. And then all of a sudden it'd be like, oh, yeah, I remember doing a lot of that stuff, so. Stuff I was just doing just comes from just getting used to hacking around with these notes on this G chord. So anyways, hope that was helpful. Alright, bye.